Let's begin. For a long time, I misunderstood the word enemy. When I was younger, I believed an enemy was obvious, someone who stood in front of you with hostility, someone who challenged you openly, someone whose intentions were loud and clear. I thought enemies were easy to identify because they came with confrontation. Life corrected that belief. The most dangerous enemies rarely announce themselves. They smile, they agree, they compliment, and they observe. This is why I learned to keep my enemies closer than my friends. Not because I lived in fear, but because I lived in awareness. Awareness is not suspicion. Awareness is clarity. It is the ability to see without reacting, to notice without accusing, to understand without being pulled into emotion. As a young man in Hong Kong, conflict was direct. If someone disliked you, you felt it immediately. Words were sharp. Fights were physical. There were no masks, no strategies, no hidden motives. That environment trained my body, but it did not train my perception. Perception came later. When I moved to the United States, the battlefield changed. Opposition became subtle. Resistance became polite. Disagreement hid behind encouragement. People smiled while judging. People supported while doubting. People praised while hoping you would fail. At first, I trusted too easily. I assumed friendliness meant alignment. I was wrong. I noticed that some people listened not to learn, but to measure. They observed my movements not to improve themselves, but to compare. They asked questions not from curiosity, but to gather information. That was my first real lesson in hidden opposition. An enemy is not always someone who hates you. Sometimes it is someone threatened by your discipline. Sometimes it is someone uncomfortable with your growth. Sometimes it is someone who benefits from you remaining small. These people rarely attack directly. They influence, they plant hesitation, they encourage delay, they soften urgency, they disguise fear as advice. I learned to watch behavior, not words. Words are cheap, patterns are truth. When I began teaching martial arts, this awareness became essential. Some students were sincere. Some admired from a distance, and some stayed close for reasons that had nothing to do with learning. They wanted access. They wanted association. They wanted proximity to ability. A few wanted control. I did not push them away immediately. I kept them close, not because I trusted them, but because distance hides intention and proximity reveals it. By keeping potential enemies within sight, I could observe reactions, how they responded to my progress, how they reacted to my confidence, how they behaved when they were not praised. A true ally is happy when you rise. A hidden enemy becomes uneasy. That unease is subtle but unmistakable. I noticed it in body language, in tone, in silence, in hesitation, in the way praise became conditional. During the period surrounding the famous challenge fight, the martial arts community was divided. Some supported me openly, some opposed me directly. Many pretended neutrality. I watched carefully. Who exaggerated my flaws? Who whispered doubt? Who waited for the outcome before choosing a position? I did not confront them. I remember them. Information is power. Emotion clouds, judgment. A warrior who reacts emotionally gives away control. After the fight, success magnified everything. Success exposes intention. Those who doubted suddenly congratulated. Critics softened their tone. People who stayed silent wanted proximity. I allowed closeness but not influence. There is a difference. You can keep someone close without giving them access. You can listen without absorbing. You can observe without trusting. Hollywood refined this lesson further. The industry is filled with people who call themselves friends while limiting your growth. They praise your talent while encouraging you to compromise it. They say things like, be patient, don't push, wait your turn. Sometimes this is wisdom. Sometimes it is fear speaking through another person. A warrior must know the difference. Enemies often reveal themselves through timing. They support you until your growth threatens their comfort. Then they hesitate. I watch for hesitation. I watch for discomfort when I spoke clearly about my vision. That discomfort spoke louder than praise. I did not rush to remove these people from my life. Hasty judgment is dangerous. Instead, I observe longer. In combat, you do not strike the moment tension appears. You wait. You feel. You understand the structure. Life is the same. By keeping enemies closer than friends, I could prepare not for revenge, but for resilience. Knowing where resistance lives allows you to strengthen your center. Knowing who doubts you allows you to detach from approval. Detachment is freedom. Many people are betrayed not because they are weak, but because they are unaware. Awareness removes surprise. I also learned that enemies can be teachers. They reveal blind spots. They expose ego. They force refinement. Friends comfort you. Enemies sharpen you. I did not seek enemies. I learned from them. I asked myself difficult questions. Why does this bother me? Where am I still attached? What fear is being exposed? Enemies point directly at these weaknesses. In my private training, I visualized pressure constantly. Pressure reveals structure. Weak structure collapses. Strong structure adapts. I wanted adaptability. That required honesty. Critics exposed where my philosophy was misunderstood. Instead of reacting, I refined it. I did not try to convince them. I outgrew them. That is the most powerful response. Trust should be earned slowly. Awareness should be constant. I kept my inner circle small, but my awareness wide. Friends near the center. Observers near the edge. Opposition within sight. Never in control. This structure preserved my clarity. It protected my discipline. It allowed me to move freely without illusion. Let me speak to you now. If you remove opposition too quickly, you lose information. If you trust too easily, you lose clarity. If you react emotionally, you lose power. Observe first. Detach from validation. Understand intention. Enemies lose power when you no longer need their approval. You do not need to destroy opposition. You need to understand it. Understanding neutralizes threat. Now let's close with this. A warrior does not fear enemies. He studies them. He does not rush to trust. He keeps his center firm and his awareness wide. Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, not in your heart, in your sight. That is the way of the warrior.